in front of the exotic plants in my garden today. I have an e-bike, a Wisper 806. This is Diane's bike, and it's here because it doesn't charge. Now, she sent me the whole bike because Di couldn't get the battery off the carrier. It started to rain, so let's try and get the battery off and get into the bat cave. Don't know what problem Di had, but that came off fairly easily. Keying anti-clockwise. Slide out. Won't charge, eh? Let's see. Switch on for a start. Anything on the gauge? Negative. What else we got? Charging ports maybe. System. What voltage is it? Rechargeable lithium-ion battery. 36 volts. Don't. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I have any output voltage. I wouldn't have thought so. Let's have a look at the ports first. How many ports are in there? Is that 6? Oh, that's 6.2. But nothing on the gauge. Very odd. Switch it on. 7.5. Okay. Pressing the gauge down and the voltage drops to 0. That's odd. Do that so you can see it. Pull the finger in the corner. Or the thumb. Press the gauge. Drops to 0. This is the charger. What does that say? The ST lithium-ion battery charger. Power and charge. Look at the back. That well-known make, Kunshan. 6 volt, 3 amp. Charger on. Red lights and green lights. Power and charge. Now that green light is supposed to mean that it's full. It's obviously not full. Let's open the battery up and see what's going on. First time for everything. There's a manual with this Wisper. It's manual, blah blah blah. Okay, a red lamp will light up on charge, indicate the battery is charging. When the red light turns green, the battery is fully charged. No, it hasn't. This grey strip of tape here is along the split line, so I'll have to take that off as well. Didn't have to take the whole strip off, just on the one side. And the same on the other side. That's a horrible arrangement of cells. Those are going to be hard to replace if there's one bad cell group in there. Talk about backwards. Checking the wiring on this balance plug. On the far one here, there's a red wire going to it. It's negative from the negative terminal of the battery. It's near side, positive. It's a blue wire. Maybe a problem right there. Looks like cell number 3 doesn't register. Okay, so which is cell number 3? Or cell group number 3, should I say. Let's do a voltage test on the old-fashioned way. Pins 1 and 2, 7, 3 is going to 4 volts. That hasn't gone to 4 volts. So between that pin and that pin, 0.08 volts. The whole pack voltage was at 37.5. This is the offending cell group here. So between there and there, showing 0 volts. Between 2 red marks. So that was between that point and that point. So it's this cell group here. God. I won't lie to you, that was a struggle. Get the battery pack out. This big sticky pad at the bottom, holding all those cells in. My peanuts brain was trying to work out the configuration of this. So I initially counted 64 cells. So that would be in 10S, there'd be 6.4 cells per cell group. Obviously can't count. So we've got 48 cells in this bottom bit and 12 on top. I counted 4 by 3 was 16. 48 and 16, 64. What? So that's a 10S 6P battery. So that would have been 2.5 amp hours, be 15 amp hour. Now I have the nightmare of trying to remove this group of cells. How's that work then? Should be 4 on this block and 2 from somewhere else, maybe deeper inside. Oh, what fun. If I'm going to fix this, I'm going to need to access these cells. I was thinking of doing was splitting here down the middle. Making sure I know where all the balance wires go. I just opened up the joints between these two halves. Let's see if I can get to that. That's what I want. That's what I want. These 6 in parallel. So I'll give Di a call and estimate a price for repair. In order to get these out, I'll have to split along this line as well. That wasn't too bad. Removing a couple of balance wires and separating these 3 joints there. Now we have access. I've had to go ahead to replace these 6 cells. Those. So let's go. Some cutting of the nickel strips with a rotary tool. It's all 6 cells out. I don't know what kind of cells these are, some kind of generic rubbish. No make. I'll replace those cells, those cheap cells, with proper cells. Samsung's 25 hours. I'll charge these new cells up before putting them in the holder, because these are at 3.5 volts and the rest of the pack, these are on 4.15 volts. That's 6 new cells installed. Samsung 25 hours. Time to do some welding. That's it welded. Some extra for the joints on both sides. That's the pack back together, all balance wires in the right place. Can you see that? Battery status is average. What are you talking about? Anyway, that's showing me 10 cells. fixture was number 3, 4.188. Just a view of the assembled pack. Spot the new ones. I've added some connectors to the battery pack so I can quickly disassemble it if it ever comes back. That's it back upside down in its case, or at least one half of it. Cocked up the gauge. Seen just about. Let's see if we have any output voltage. Yay. Here we go. That's better. Time for a discharge test. Shall we say about 8 amps or less. It's a 250 watt motor, so 8 amps is 320 watts. See if it handles that. Good enough, 7 amps. That's been under load now for about 13 minutes. The voltage has dropped very little, only down to 39 volts, so that's a pass. Yep. Even though this battery is still fairly full, I'll try and give it a charge. Yeah, just charging. Now for the ultimate test, stick it back on the bike. It's back on. Is anything going to work? Oops, switch. There's a switch. Oop. Oh, it is on. Okay. Hey. There's life. First time I've ever ridden a lady's bike. Well, that's not true. My first adult bike was my mum's bike. We didn't get cars when we were 17 when we were young. This appears to have a throttle on it. Whoop, whoop. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, holding a camera. Throttle on full. Uphill. How about some views? I can hear the motor turning. Oh, stop, throttle down. Brakes, just brakes. Very nice, job well done. Final check on the gauge. That can be seen. Just about. That's it for this job. Now I know that the Wisper 806 can be fixed. If you thought that was useful, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. And of course, a bedtime snack.